And of course, the Oilers, the 7th team in Stanley Cup final history to record a 3-goal comeback victory. They are the first to do it since the 2006 Hurricanes. Yes, the same team that beat the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup final that year. Leon Draisaitl's 4 overtime goals, the most ever by a player in a single postseason. Let's bring in our director of scouting, Craig Button, to talk a little bit more about this incredible comeback victory by the Edmonton Oilers in Game 4. We're tied at 2 apiece, Craig. No quit in this Edmonton team, Craig. You heard Pierre LeBrun talk about it. Everybody in the press box after the first period wrote the Oilers off and pretty much said the series was over. And you can hardly blame them the way Edmonton played in the first period. So how did they come back and pull this win off?
Why would anybody write off the Edmonton Oilers at this point in the playoffs, Jay? All they do is show that they might be down, but they're never out. I mean, comeback after comeback after comeback, third period comebacks, finding a way to win in overtime. I don't know why anybody would question them. And Darnell Nurse said it best. He said, we got to playing. We got to getting into the battles. We got to playing in the offensive zone. They were playing forward. They were playing on their toes. That's what ended up happening. And it started right with the Darnell Nurse goal. I mean, here he is taking a swing pass from Ekholm. He buries it up high. Then Darnell Nurse on his toes, forward, gets the puck to the front of the net. Podkolzin, boom, it's 3-3. And then relentless pressure. Yeah, playing forward on the Florida Panthers. This was a tired group. But if you don't stay on a tired group, you're not going to get the benefit of a turnover. You're not going to force them into a turnover. And that's exactly what the Oilers did. The only reason they were able to get that turnover, because they were playing forward. They started the second period playing on their toes, getting after it. And that's why they got back into this game. But I'll be really clear. The next person that writes off the Edmonton Oilers in this playoffs, if they're behind in a game, you're just making a huge mistake.
Let's talk about Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard. Tough start for Skinner in some ways, allows those 3 goals, gets pulled after the first. Pickard takes it the rest of the way. But, Craig, the Oilers don't get this victory in Game 4 without both goaltenders, do they?
There is no question. Jay, in the first period, the high danger chances for the Florida Panthers, 13. Edmonton Oilers 1. It would have been 6 or 7-0 after the first period if it wasn't for Stuart Skinner. Listen, Chris Knobloch had to go into his toolbox to make a change and say, hey, listen, you guys better be a lot better because this is not on our goaltenders. And Stuart Skinner started the second period on the bench, 3-1. Big save here by Pickard. Again, Pickard was faced with a lot of good scoring chances and found ways time and time again to make the saves. These were not easy saves. And when you think about the overtime one, off the glove, he thought that it might have been into the net, but it goes off the crossbar after he gets to the right spot at the right time. And certainly, Calvin Pickard came in and did exactly what he was asked to do. But without Stuart Skinner, it wouldn't have mattered what Calvin Pickard did because the game would have been too far out of hand.
Greg, should the Oilers feel a little bit fortunate that Sergei Bobrovsky was not on the case in game number 4?
Yeah, it was interesting with Bobrovsky because when you watch how he played, there was the moments that were really, really terrific, some really fantastic saves and right on it. But there were too many times in this game. That goal by Darnell Nurse, that's a terrible goal on the goaltender. You can't let that one in. And then you think about the angle here, and he's down and right over the shoulder. I mean, that's not even a 50-goal scorer. That's Darnell Nurse. This one goes in, but look at where Bobrovsky is. He's back on his heels. The Ryan Nugent-Hopkins goal, back on his heels. Darnell Nurse back on his heels. Podkolzin back on his heels in the net. And then, I know it's a deflection. I know it's a lucky break for the Edmonton Oilers, but there was too many goals that Bobrovsky wasn't on top of the game. There was other times in the game where he made some great saves and kept the puck out of the net, but this was not one of Bobrovsky's finest performances.
Craig, you said after Game 3, that lopsided loss for Edmonton, you were a little concerned about the Oilers. Now we're heading back to Edmonton Saturday. It's a best of 3. What are you thinking now? Who do you like now?
Jay, I wasn't concerned about the Oilers after Game 3 because I said after they got blown out in Game 2 versus the LA Kings, their worst game of the playoffs, they came back and won 4 straight.
Yep.
It was one game. So what do I expect? I think this series is tight. I think that this series has seen 3 overtime games. You've seen spirited play by both teams. I'm expecting the same thing on Saturday night in Edmonton for Game 5. I think Game 3 was the aberration.
Yeah.
I think that what we've seen for 3 games has been fantastic hockey, hard hockey. Buckle up, because I think it's only going to get that much better.
Should be awesome. Craig, I know you'll be there Saturday. Enjoy that one.